It's about this time of year where I start to think about the year that was. Christmas is a great opportunity to really reflect on the past 12 months and have a look at what it was that you achieved in that year. Now for me, it's been a year that's been an exciting year. I've done some new things, I've achieved some cool things, and in particular, I'm really proud of the fact that this year was the first year that I released my very own calendar. Now stick with me, I'm going to give this a very quick shameless plug, and then I'm going to tell you a story that really changed the way that I think about how I go through each year and how I make sure that every single year I improve and that I level up. And I'll talk to you a bit about what I mean in a second. But this calendar is part of me leveling up in 2018, and that's why I wanted to talk about it very quickly. This calendar is 12 of my favorite images, really printed in a high quality format in a calendar that I've now got up for sale. The link is down below in the video description if you want to grab yourself a copy of that. We've still got some limited copies available, Australian, $30 each plus postage. So if you want one of those, I've got a few left and I would love to send you one out before the end of December so you can start getting the full 365 days use from my 2019 calendar. Now, what brought me to talk about that was I was talking about leveling out, and to me, I have wanted to do a calendar for several years and I just never got there, and I don't know why, but I never got to that point. I never got myself organized and I never learned how to go about making my own calendar. And so for me, that was one of the things that I did this year that leveled up. Now remember, I was going to tell you a bit about a story, and this story is a story that I heard many years ago that really helped me think about each year differently, especially when I got to the end of the year and I look back. And you may be looking back on the past 12 months and feel like you've achieved a lot, or you might be looking back and feel like you haven't achieved anything. And I'm not talking just about in your photography, I'm talking about in life in general. Now, just to put this into some context, here in Australia, the schooling system, if you get to the end of the year and you haven't attended enough school or you haven't done well enough, then they'll get you to repeat that year. And I'm not sure what it's like in other countries, but it's important that you understand that as I go through and tell you this little story. Now, if you've got kids, you'll relate to it really easily. If you don't have any kids, now kids, by the way, is I think Aussie slang for children, so I'll just correct myself there. If you've got children, you'll relate to this really easily. If not, I want you just to pretend you've got children or a child. I know that could be scary if you don't have any, but I know you've been a child, so you'll relate to this. I want you to imagine that your child has come home from school at the end of this year and said to you, Mum, Dad, I've got some bad news. I've got to repeat year 4. Now, you'd probably be a little bit upset. You'd probably be thinking, geez, what did we do wrong? Did I not help them enough? Was I not supportive enough? Maybe I didn't give them enough accountability to do the homework. But nevertheless, you're going to be a very supportive parent and you send them off for their second year as they go and repeat grade 4. Now they get to the end of the second year of grade 4 and the same thing happens. They come home, Mum, Dad, I've got some bad news. I've got to repeat grade 4 again. Now you're really starting to ask some questions. What would you be thinking? There's something wrong? Something wrong with the teacher? Something wrong with the schooling system? Something wrong with my child. Maybe you get a DNA check done. Maybe it's not mine. You would definitely be a little bit worried. But supportive parent, you send them off again for their third year at grade 4. You send them off on their third year at grade 4, hoping they'll do better. You support them through that. They get to the end of the third year of grade 4, so they've repeated for a third time. They get home, they say, Mum, Dad, got some bad news. I've got to repeat again. And now this happens so many times in a row that they're driving themselves to school to go to grade 4. Imagine that. Now, you probably had a little giggle about that, but the reality, and I'm going to ask you this question, how many times have you repeated the same year, year in, year out, and made that okay? Now, I meet many people that just never seem to graduate. And, when I heard this story many years ago, it got me thinking about, well, okay, when we're in the schooling system, there's some sort of system or accountability to learn something new every single year to make us level up or graduate. And not just in photography, but in life, I'm going to ask you, what have you done this year to level up? And that's what I ask myself at this time of the year. Now, it could be photography gear, but I really don't want it to be about photography gear unless your gear needed upgrading because what you were shooting with was broken, or such old technology, or it wasn't helping, it was hindering you. You might have a tripod that's falling apart. Well, leveling up to you could be getting a new tripod. But I'm talking about what have you done to level up your photography skills? So have you done courses on composition? Have you watched some tutorials? Have you gone on some workshops? Have you made some new photography buddies and gone out shooting with other people? Because there's a lot to be learnt when you go out and you shoot with other people. Maybe you've joined a camera club. Maybe you've done a 52-week photography challenge. Who knows? But only you will know. But when it comes to improving every year, you've got to graduate, right? And graduating is about learning something new, doing something new, and achieving something new. What have you done to learn how to create photos that show movement even though they're still? What have you done to create emotion in your images to get people to really feel like they're standing there in the moment and they can feel the wind on their face, or the sea spray, or whatever it is that your image is that you're capturing? How have you gone about leveling up? And so this is what I think about when I get to the end of year, and I think about what have I done this year to really advance myself, not just in photography but in life, because the same thing applies, right? So relationships, the holidays I go on, the car I drive, the friends that I have, the charities that I donate to, the whatever it might be. Have you leveled up in 2018? And only you can answer that, and there's no right or wrong. I'd be interested to hear from you in the comments down below. What do you do each year at this time of year? Do you reflect on the past 12 months? Are you one of those people like me that you're really driven? I'm about always leveling up and going to that next level. How do you make sure you've done that? And to you, I'd love to hear from you. What do you consider, or what do you think is your definition of leveling up or graduating every single year? Maybe you've been that person who has been repeating the same year in, year out, and expecting something to change. Well, here I am to tell you that nothing changes if nothing changes. So hopefully I've helped you think about the year that was and how you can make 2019 more amazing for you, because it's about your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, and I hope you're doing everything you can to achieve them. Anyway, that's enough from me this week. Pretty deep and meaningful. If you do like the calendar, link is down below. $30 Australian plus postage, shipping all over the world. Not many left, so get in quick if you want to get one of those. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Like I said, leave your comments down below. Hit the subscribe button, and until next time, get out there and take some photos. See ya.